What was the most successful prank you've ever pulled? A long time ago, before the age of Windows, I wrote a TSR app that captured the keyboard input before making it to the system. You see, my coworkers and I played jokes on one another, so this was my trump card. Basically, it kept track of all letters, upper and lower were separated, numbers and symbols. Then it would pick a random time somewhere from 1 day to 1 week. When that time expired, it would randomly pick a key from the list and capture its input and not let it through. The effect is that key, although typed, would not show up in the system. It would then start again, removing a different key. Over time, less and less keys became available. I installed it on my coworker's machine and let it run. First thing to disappear was something like hash. He noticed but ignored it. Then a character like Q, used but not too often. Third character was one in his name. So he typed his name with that character as uppercase. By now, weeks later, I was really enjoying it. Then something like E disappeared, and he lost it. He was ready to nuke his whole system, so I stopped him, letting him know what it was. I had installed a backdoor, so all I had to do was pass it a parameter and it would restore the keyboard and remove itself. He took it well and then wanted to install it on our boss's computer. They were good friends. Back in university, my housemate used to live off tinned food. He would have a massive variety of soups, curries, and veggies in his cupboards, but all tinned. I'm talking dozens of tins filling up the whole cupboard. He would be the only one who survived a nuclear bomb. I came up with this idea where I carefully removed the label off a tin of chicken soup and stuck it onto a tin of value cat food I had bought in the supermarket for this purpose. That evening he was about to eat dinner, and of course I was saying, "Oh, what are you having for dinner, Jimmy?" "How about some chicken soup?" Somehow I persuaded him, and he didn't smell a rat. He picked a tin of soup and opened it, and it was chicken soup. Oh well, I thought. Another time 2 weeks pass, and I've sort of forgotten about the tin when he is in the kitchen making dinner and we hear him saying in an alarmed voice, "Guys, what do you think of this soup? Looks a bit funny to me." I've been waiting to tell this story for a decade on Reddit, as it was the highlight of my high school years. I managed to convince my sister's 9th grade science teacher she was an amateur arsonist almost by accident. I had a study hall with Mr. D the semester before, and one day as I'm sitting in the class near the back, D wanders by and says, "I have your sister in my class next semester. Anything I should know?" Just trying to make conversation with a student whose younger sibling was newly 9th grade. I don't know where it came from, but I jokingly told him, "Look, whatever you heard, it was completely blown out of proportion. No charges were ever filed, and besides, there haven't been any incidents in a couple of months, and besides some smoke damage, there's been no loss of property. Maybe just don't sit her near the waster paper just to be safe." Just pulling Mr. D's leg basically. I forgot about that exchange until the parent-teacher night the next semester, when my mother came back and asked me what I told my sister's science teacher. Apparently I played the defensive older brother act a little too well, and he spent the first 3 weeks of that semester with my sister under close scrutiny, and he had to ask my mum about the validity of my claims. I only found out this past holiday when I was retelling the story, but my sister inadvertently helped the joke along. That first week she was in science, they were lighting Bunsen burners and Mr. D asked if anyone knew how to use matches. Given we grew up with wood heat and camping, it should come as no surprise that my sister's hand shot up. One summer when my cousin was staying with us, he and I had a small prank war going on against one another. We decided to put our talents together and try to prank everyone else. We put small piles of flour on each blade of the ceiling fan in the living room. Just enough to not be seen from the ground. A few weeks went by and nothing happened, and we had forgotten about it. And then, the day finally came. My mom had company over. I was in the kitchen, and I heard all kinds of shouting/screaming coming from the living room. My cousin ran up to me grinning and said, "It's happening." The living room looked like it had just snowed inside. Everything was coated in a dusting of flour. My mother was screaming, her guests were staring in confusion, and the dogs were running around in circles. It was so amazing until we had to clean it all up. For our high school senior prank at my boarding school, we snuck out in the middle of the night and stole the athletic director's prized golf cart. We pushed it up a hill to the school. One of our friends was able to get keys from a custodian and let us in a back door. We got the golf cart into the building and then into a science classroom and lifted it up onto the big lab tables. We decorated it with nonsense and left it there and locked everything up. In the morning, everyone not in on it was completely confused about how the hell we had pulled it off. We didn't even damage anything. Even the chain we had to cut to get the golf cart free was replaced with a note on our athletic director's doorstep. The custodial staff wasn't even mad at having to take the cart out because it was so ridiculous. I can only imagine the double take that the teacher did when he entered his class that day. A buddy of mine from high school went by the nickname TD. One day, my brother asked me what TD stands for, so I look at him like he's an idiot and say Tyrone Draconus, duh. This name came out of nowhere. I had no intentions before that moment of deceiving him. So I nonchalantly go back to whatever I was doing. Brother freaks out saying that's the best name ever and is so excited he can't wait to surprise TD with knowing his name at school tomorrow. Thing is, TD stands for Theodore David. I get to school about 30 minutes before my brother and start explaining to everyone the situation and to go along with it. Even TD is on board. So, from end of August until early mid-May, every time my brother sees TD in the halls he shouts Tyrone Draconus. At one point another classmate of mine tried to correct him, but she had a bad reputation with me, bullied me when we first moved there, so naturally he didn't believe her. Then came graduation day, when my mom spoiled it. Yes, my parents were in on it too. Brother didn't want to attend commencement, and as a bargaining tool she said, "Don't you want to hear TD's name announced?" Several times. After a couple hours of that, brother comes up to me and asks, "TD's name isn't really Tyrone Draconus, is it?" I proceed to blow his mind with this elaborate ruse that spawned from one spontaneous moment several months prior. Edit. Autocorrect ruined the first instance of the fake name. Hey guys, please remember to like and subscribe, it really helps my video out in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and watch out for more Askreddit videos.